How's it going, guys? And welcome back to The Average. So I have Trey on here. He's one of my personal entrepreneur buddies, and he is a master at what he does. He helps CEOs and people basically walk away from their positions, building systems and processes to take over what they do on a day-to-day. So Trey, you want to take it over and introduce yourself a little bit better?
Awesome, man. I'm a crazy passionate life changer that gives anyone and everyone the space they need to grow. I break businesses down into 4 pillars: marketing, sales, fulfillment, and retention. If you have a system for all those things, and then you have the people that you need for all those things, and make sure everything communicates, you have a business that can operate like a machine. So that's what I do.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. So take it back to when you first got involved. Like, how did you come into the internet space? How did you come about the whole marketing area and getting involved in that?
So just to be completely real with you, like I was at the absolute worst place of my life. I was addicted to drugs. I was selling drugs. I didn't think I was going to live to see 21. And one of my very good friends, Kyler Gifford, he's a real estate agent. He came to me and he said that he needed a little bit of help. So I said, hey, I'll come to your open house. I'll help you get the open house open. Like, we kept talking. I told him exactly where I was at. I was very vulnerable with him, and he accepted me where I was at and let me start helping him with his real estate business. And very quickly, I had him ranking on the first page of Google, getting calls consistently. And from there, it just kind of snowballed, honestly. Like, I got that case study. I was like, hey, that people would be like, why should I work with you? And I'll be like, hey, go Google San Marcos real estate. You'll find my client. That's what. And then they'd be like, okay, cool. So here, where do I pay? And I'd be like, oh, wow. That was, but I also got obsessed with it when that happened. Because I mean, he basically took somebody that felt like they had no purpose, who wasn't going to live till they see 21, and gave them something else. And I was like, I have another option. So I got obsessed. Like I spent a lot of late nights, a lot of all-nighters. There were nights I didn't sleep just because I was studying, I was reading, and I wanted to learn everything I could learn. I went from knowing nothing to ranking him on the first page within a few months.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I got here.
Oh yeah, dude, that is crazy. Now, basically, you self-educated and self-learned yourself into that. You didn't pay for a mentor or anything like that. You just dove straight in from having no background to trying to build that for him.
So I definitely had people that I reached out to and I asked questions, but I didn't really know anybody. So I kind of, when I got into it, I started kind of systematically connecting with the people that I knew stuff. I joined groups where I knew the people who knew what I wanted to know were at, because I figured out very quickly when I bought some courses that they weren't going to be what you expected. I paid about $3,000 for a marketing program that was supposed to teach me all this different stuff. And then I got into it. It was all outdated. Basically, all of it was irrelevant. And I was very, very disappointed. So I went out there and I found people who knew what I needed to know. And I found communities that I could hang out in. And I started watching all the new YouTube videos and just absorbed everything I could. And through trial and error, I started figuring out what worked.
Hell yeah. So then, how did it advance from being with him to the position you're in currently? Like, what were the steps that you took to do that?
To be honest, I think I think the biggest thing was starting my podcast, because I knew a lot very, very quickly. But when I started my podcast, I started reaching out to influencers and people who were at a much higher level than me, and being able to interview them and network with them and become friends with a lot of them. They were, I kind of collected a bunch of mentors over time, basically doing the podcast. Like, a lot of the people I've interviewed have become my friends, and anytime I have an issue, I reach out to them and I say, hey, I really don't know how to do this. Like, what do I do? And then also, there was one of the biggest things was recognizing that I don't have to be the expert on everything, which really just leads me back to finding the other experts, finding the mentors. You don't have to know everything. I didn't have to know everything. I still don't know everything.
Right. I'm definitely there with you. You find somebody that knows how to do it, get you there quicker, and have everything situated better. And the best position to be in is learning from somebody that's already been there and gotten to that position. So when you started your podcast, from going from not knowing anybody to reaching out to these influencers and all of that, how did you build your mindset to do that? Or like, how did you go through messaging them people and getting out of your own way, basically?
So as far as getting out of my own way, I just realized I got mad one day and I was like, nobody's taking me seriously. To the majority of these people, I'm a college kid. Like, the people that I can show the results, the people that understand it took me seriously. But anybody else that didn't quite understand what I was trying to explain to them, they didn't take me seriously at all. And I got pissed off about it. And so I started the podcast, and I started just reaching out to influencers. I started messaging like people in groups that I knew were providing value to people all the time. And initially it was a little bit selfish. I wanted to learn more. And so I started interviewing other people and getting that information from them. And so oh my God, why am I not? Wow.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Dude, I'm sorry. I've done so many of these today.
That's always a good thing, though. That's the best way to have it, bro.
Oh my God. So forgive me. What was the question?
We were talking about how you went and started reaching out to people and like how you started to build up. Because obviously right now, if anybody goes and checks out your podcast right now, you're interviewing some really high up and higher level beings and entrepreneurs. How did you start that? Because everybody started from zero, and like, how did you reach out to them clients and like build it up? Did you like slowly network your way up, or how did you go about that process?
So a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people you can reach out to and just ask and they'll just say yes. Like, it kind of took me off guard. I didn't expect to get so many yeses. So the first day that I was reaching out to people trying to get interviews, I messaged about 25 people. Next thing you know, I had 10 to 12 interviews on my calendar. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? But once I kind of got through the low-hanging fruit, I realized, like, of the people that I was connected to and that like my network was connected to, I was like, okay, so now I gotta kind of get creative. These people don't know me. So if there's somebody I want to be connected with, I follow their social media accounts. I'll start engaging with their social media accounts, as well as on Facebook. If you go to somebody's profile, you can go, unless their profile is set up so they don't show it. Some people do that. Kind of sucks when they do, but I get more creative that way. But you can go to their profile and you can see who they're friends with. I don't know for sure if it shows this on desktop. I know it shows it on your phone. That's where I always do it from my phone. But you can see all of their friends, the mutual friends, and then the suggested friends. The suggested friends are all going to be people who you already have things in common with. So if you go through and you add all these people that you have stuff in common with, and you do that for a few days, and then after a few days, you go back to this influencer's page, and you're connected with 40, 50 people that are on their friends list, you send them a friend request, they're going to say, oh, he's already plugged in with my network. Cool. And then they're more likely to accept that request. And once you get that request accepted, you say, hey, do you do podcast interviews? I'd love to have you on. Like I've been a follower for a long time. Like, kiss their ass a little bit. Thanks, dude.
Yep, definitely, dude. I love it. I mean, that's basically how I've networked my way up in basically everything I've done, because I started in affiliate marketing, and that was kind of like when I first started my opportunity, it was like an MLM type deal. So I had to literally climb up the ladder from working a day job to growing my own company. Now, I know you're currently writing a book, so what is that all about? And like, how is that coming along?
It's going very well. I have multiple different people who are experts in different things in my network, contributing different sections, but essentially it's going to cover everything from planning your business to building your marketing plan to breaking down my 4 pillars of business, which again is the marketing, the sales, the fulfillment, and the retention. And so it's going to teach them how to break down those systems. It's going to give the basic practices for all the social media platforms. I'm going to go over the podcasting basics, like tricks for building your network. And at the beginning, I'm even going to give them a templated business plan, as well as some other resources. So at the end of the book, they can go from no business to having the foundation of a business built if they just do what the book tells them to do. And this is the foundational things that are probably not going to change. Like, I go over the best practices for all of the social media platforms. Because if you touch on anything besides best practices, it's just going to change and it's going to be irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Right, that is the truth. Now, on the book side, being an author, how is that all coming about? Like, how is it a struggle? How are you finding time to do that? Do you have like a schedule, or are you just doing it on your free time? Like, how is that all? Because I see Russell, I've watched Russell's podcast, and he talks about book writing is like one of the worst things to do, but best things to do ever. And like, I'm curious how it is on the actual real side of
So honestly, I hate writing.
it.
I have always hated writing. And one trick that I've been taught by other entrepreneurs, it's not the way I'm doing it, but I'm probably going to try it here soon because I'm getting really tired of typing. But one thing that you can do is you can break the subject down, you can talk about it, record it, and then get it transcribed. So say have your one chapter laid out, get all the bullet points, get all the talking points, and then just talk about it. You can get a book out a lot faster. I've seen people get books done in 2 weeks to 30 days by transcribing it and just talking about it. Because it's, in reality, most of us are writing books about our stories and things we do on a day-to-day basis. You can talk about it forever. It's just hard to get it on paper. But I'm doing it kind of the harder way. I broke it down into all the sections that I wanted to cover, and then I'm just typing them out one at a time. And then the sections that I realized, like, hey, that's definitely not my superpower, I reached out to my partners in my business and my mentors and things like that, and I'm having them contribute so that I'm not writing all of it, but yet whenever that book attracts somebody to me, I'm gonna send that person to them anyways if they ask me about that.
Right.
But I hate writing. So
how long have you been writing the book so far?
In Google Drive.
No, like how
long? It all out in Google Drive, and then when it's done, I'm gonna send it over to my editor, who's gonna edit it, and then once that's done, we'll send it to somebody who will format it into the actual book format. Because, like, again, you don't have to know everything. I don't even know like how to explain what kind of format you need to put an ebook into, but I make them.
Right, I'm with you there. So, talking about your current business and what you're doing currently with Virtual Limitless and everything, like, tell me about all that. Like, how is that going about?
So basically, like I said, I focus on the 4 pillars. All of my services revolve around around the 4 pillars of business, which is helping business owners systemize their marketing, sales, fulfillment, and retention systems. So that if they decide that they want to take a leave from the business, if they want to step out, if they want to focus on speaking, like, so that they can step out and focus on driving traffic to it, or they can, like, if you're Dan Henry, you can go get on a yacht for a month if you want to and not think about your business. I know he was complaining in the ClickFunnels group about that a while back. So if you're watching this, Dan, give me a call.
little shout out. Give me a call. Oh, love it, dude.
Couldn't resist.
No, you have to. But the likely chance that he would ever watch this, but you never know. He might get tagged a billion times and see it.
Make sure you send it to him.
Right.
He's very receptive to messages. I have an agreement that when I hit 1,000 group members, I get to interview him. He's pretty responsive.
Oh yeah, we'll see how it goes. But so on the Virtual Limitless subject, how are you? Because obviously your clients are more higher end, and business owners already have systems and processes, and they're trying to walk away and systematize it. How are you bringing in clients in your business? What is your marketing strategy, if you don't mind going into it a little bit?
So the majority of my marketing strategy is pretty much bringing people onto my show and letting them show their superpowers, and then turning that into my social media content. People love seeing people live in their superpowers. And when they're seeing other people do that, I can say, hey, I can teach you how to do this for yourself.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I focus on attracting people to me rather than always having to be reaching out to people.
Right. The best type of organic
traffic. To go a little bit deeper, like, I focus very, very much, like, my biggest goal right now is to take over the Google page, which, if you Google my name right now, I'm not at the top of Google, but about halfway through the page, I take that shit over. It's just me for a while. If you go to images, you see a lot of me. If you go to the videos, you see a lot of me. So I want people to be able to find me. And then whenever they find me and reach out to me, I don't really have to explain, like, why should you work with me? They already know. They found me.
Right. They went through your content funnel. They figured out who you were.
Yeah. That's also another big thing is I leverage Facebook communities. I call them know, like, and trust in a box. If you can put somebody into a community where you're already the authority, there's other people who look up to you in that community already, people like praising your name, like people call the ClickFunnels community a cult because Russell did a very, very, very incredible job of this. But he has this community where all of his success stories are there. All of his earned media is there. All of his content is there. Like, so you put people in one place, you provide them value, you let them get to know you, you show them your network, you show them success stories. It's know, like, and trust in a box.
Literally. That's awesome,
And,
dude.
another thing that a lot of people won't really share is if you have a VA or something kind of reaching out to the people in your community, offer them ask me anything calls. Schedule them for 15 minutes, give answer whatever questions they have, help them out, like provide them a lot of value. Obviously, like you're not getting them on this call just to sell them. If you don't sell them, okay, whatever. If you provide them that value, they're going to go talk to more people. Like, do not turn it into a sales call. Let them ask you for help, but have them ask you questions and then blow their mind. Give them everything you've got for that 15 minutes. And then at the end of that 15 minutes, you'd be surprised how many of those people are going to ask to work with you. And then basically make it so that there's a 15-minute buffer in your calendar automatically, no matter what, after that call, so that when they ask you, you have that time period to take it into a sales conversation if they choose to take it that way. But don't go into it expecting to sell. Don't make it a sales call, because then you'll scare people away. Make it about the relationship and helping that person.
Definitely.
That's kind of like my whole process, actually. I mean, I just gave you the sauce.
Right. Just dropped it all on this. Hell yeah. So in your, I know when I went and met you down in Texas and we hung out for a little while and we got to talking, you were in a different place of mindset than you currently are now. And there were a lot of different reasons that me and you've talked about personally, but like on a share rate notice, how would you say, what was your defining moment that was like, wow, this, you know what, I need to be the guy. I need to be the authority. This is my business. This is my company. This is my life. I'm going to run this shit. From the old mindset where you were basically like, oh, I know this. I understand this. This is working well. I'm making money, but I don't want to be that known. I don't want to be that guy. Because now you're like, you're out there. You're everywhere. You're like, yo, dude, I'm the guy. And like a year ago, you were like, I'm the guy. You know what I mean? Like, what was that?
Yeah. So the biggest shift was a lot of people told me this over and over again, but the first person that really started beating it into me was Tiffany Toombs. She actually has a book called Stop Being a Selfish Bitch. And it's from the outside looking in, it sounds like, what the heck is that book? But it's really like the whole meaning of the book is that we're all born with a superpower. We all have something that we're here to do. And if we don't show up, somebody like us might not have the confidence to show up. So if I don't show up, somebody else who came from the place of being addicted to drugs, of having the mental health diagnosis, of having all these things of why would I be able to do what I do? Like, that's all they're going to ask themselves, unless they see me show up and do it, unless they see someone else show up and do it. That's where my mindset really had to shift, because I realized people need me to. Like, it's not just for me, it's for everybody like me. Like, that's why I'm here, man, is to be an example for the people like me.
That's some deep truth, for real. Like, I 110% agree with you there, man, because that's kind of why I shifted from selling physical products to actually helping people and mentoring people again, is because, like, I wanted to make that impact. I wanted to be that person that was helping other people. But, like, by the way, guys, if you guys are watching this, Tiffany will be on the next interview, by the way. I have her scheduled in, so it's going to be super dope. It's kind of cool that we talked about that. But now your current mindset is like you want to be that guy, like you're shooting for 7 figures, you're shooting for the big wins. Could you kind of go into your what your plans are for building your business and scaling your business this next year?
My biggest plan is writing this book. And the book is going to, I mean, that book is an asset. Like, whenever you become an author, people take you more seriously just because you're an author.
Mhm.
But not only that, I'll be able to offer the ebook as a lead magnet. I'll be able to offer the ebook as a bonus. I'll be able to take sections of the book and turn it into blog posts. I'll be able to take sections of the book and make videos about it. Like that book is going to be my content for probably a year. And not only that, it's going to make my reputation. It's like, that's what's going to make people trust me massively. I mean, a lot of people trust me, but when I start sending out a book on everything I do, like people who don't know who I am, this like random person over here who's never heard of me, if I walk up and say, hey man, I can help you scale your business, I can do this, I can do that, they're going to be like, who the fuck are you? But if I walk up and I say, hey, read this book, call me if you want some help, they're going to be like, whoa, who's that guy? Like, he didn't even stop and like.
You didn't even stop to talk.
And that's one thing that I do want to that I do want to kind of lean on here is I, even when I was struggling, I never acted desperate for a sale. Like, I never acted like I needed something. I always put my time first. And if you act like you have all the time in the world, people don't take you seriously. Nobody who values their time will take you seriously if you act like you have all the time in the world. And that's one little thing I've learned just dealing with high level people.
Definitely. I 100% feel you there. It's the same kind of concept like when we were down in Texas and you're like, hey, when I tell people that I'm out of the office, this is really the office, and we're in like that little conference room. I do the same shit when I'm not home. Like if I'm out and about or something, I'll be like, I'm not at the office. Compared to just saying I'm not at home, it's a total different spin-off on the psychology of it.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
crazy.
it's complete. Like, there's all these little psychological things that you can do. Like, for instance, when I was working with Sid Clevenger, he has his gold jacket. That's and there was this guy that I talked to at this event in LA that we were at, and he basically explained it. He said that, like, okay, I've got this chain with a hammer on it. I've got my white suit, my crazy fancy shoes. Like, why do you think I do that? And I mean, me not really thinking about it, I was like, because you want to look good. Like, you want to make people, you want to have that perception. And he's like, no, because it's a hammer. It makes people ask questions. If you can do something to make people ask questions, then people approach you. When I go to events, I wear these black and green prayer beads. You may or may not have seen them. I might not have had them when you were there. But I have these prayer beads that I wear. It doesn't matter if I'm in a suit. It doesn't matter. I'm wearing those beads. And people walk up and ask me about those beads. And you know what? When you're in the right place and you get somebody to approach you, you never know how many of those people are going to be a lead.
Right. A lead, a sale, a mentor, somebody known up, a financee, anything.
Everything is about relationships. If you can make somebody approach you, that is one of the most powerful things in the world.
Absolutely. You basically have to create enough hype behind yourself to start your own wave where people want to be curious about you.
Yup.
That's great, dude. I fucking love it. So digging into your book and like the current business plans and everything that you're gonna embark on over this next year, is there anything that you kind of want to talk about and just kind of say, oh, wow, this is where I want to take this, and I could kind of check back in with you a year from now and do a little accountability thing and be like, oh, did he do it or did he not? Like, you want to set some public goals here?
Set some public goals. What can I set that I'm not already like
that is
smashing right now?
That is true. That is true. I think.
I mean, let's be honest. I set a goal a few weeks ago to start getting on to at least 2 podcasts a week, and I was hustling trying to get on shows. I quit trying to get on shows, and I've been on 3 to 5 a week. So I want to get on stage. I mean, the main thing is just getting this book out, man. Like, I'm face down in my book. Like, my team my team is fulfilling everything that I have right now, and I'm focused on getting this book done and out, because this book is what's going to turn a 6-figure business into a 7, 8, 9, who knows what business. Like that's what's going to do it, because I can take this book, and if I get 500 copies of this book and I write handwritten notes and send them a t-shirt, get a list of 500 of my dream clients, say I close 1% of those dream clients on my high ticket program. My highest ticket program is $25,000 a month. If I close 1%, that's $1 million. That's $1 million a year over.
Definitely,
So
dude.
that's like 10x to a whole new level. Like, imagine you're gonna close 1%, make a giant goal, pretend you're only gonna close 1%, and then see what happens.
Right.
This still happens.
Right. I don't know if you listened to Steve Larson or not, but I was listening to his podcast the other day, and it was like he had $1 million day, and he was talking about the day after how like all of his systems and all of his fulfillment crashed and everything, because he was only expecting to do like $250,000, and he ended up breaking $1 million in a day. And I was like, holy shit! Like, I want to have them problems. Like, come on, bring it on.
Yeah. Like, people act like they're not gonna have problems when they get money, but once you get money, you get different problems. Like, I want you to know that. Like, if you're not happy right now, fucking get happy. Like, don't make it hinge on when you make it. Like, not only are you going to function better when you're happy, but happiness attracts people.
Facts.
Like,
Happiness
fucking
always
pursue the
attracts people.
happiness.
right.
Why do you think I'm attracted to you, Andrew? Because
Yep.
you're happy all the time. You're on social media, you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, and you're happy. You're positive. Like, that's where I'm attracted to you.
Yep, dude, I feel you there, bro. For a little bit of background on me and him, we've actually been buddies for a little bit over almost a year and a half. Just kind of going back and forth with marketing stuff. And then when I was traveling across the country, I went down to Texas and actually saw him, got to be a part of a podcast he had going on down there. And like, we really got to conversating and meeting up. And like, we have a lot of the same interests, the same likes, the same type of music it is to. It's crazy. Like, and it all started with just marketing on social media, and then boom, I made an awesome connection that's now going to be a friend for life. And like, we're going places that most people aren't really going to go, and we're literally sharing the journey. I know both of us, because both of us during these interviews, both of us are talking and sharing as much information with the people that need it and want it and crave it. And you're really one of the only people that I have seen actually give a shit about people on a high level, regardless if it's a high ticket or a $10 charge, or even if you're doing stuff for free. Like, you put your whole heart, soul, and effort into it, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Dude, time is the only thing I can't get back. If I'm gonna give you my time, I'm going all in during that time. Like, there's no point in not. It's wasted time if I don't. I can't get that time back. You can't get that time back. I don't want to waste your time either.
Right. Facts, dude. Facts. Pure facts. So going into kind of like, what would you tell yourself if you, from now to back then, when you first started and you first got going, what would be something that you wish you would have known back then, or wish you would have implemented back then, or wish you would have just told yourself that was going to happen? What would be that one thing that stands out the most? Deep thought.
You don't have to know everything. Like, you don't have to know everything. Find the right people to lock arms with. Like, focus on your superpower, and then find the people that you can lock arms with that their superpower does your superpower doesn't.
Absolutely, bro. That is the drop of gold of the century. Like, that is why I constantly tell people to get mentors and coaches and like different people that can take them to higher levels. Like, just find people that take the experience that you don't need. Like, a lot of people come to me for funnel design, but they're really good at closing leads and all that. They just don't know how to get leads or do anything like that. And it's like, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You'll spend 2 or 3 months working on a funnel, and you don't even know how the metrics or strategy works on it, and you fail at it. And now what are you stuck with? You just wasted all your time. You know what I mean? It's like, pay somebody to do it right, so you have it done and it's rolling for you.
At least pay someone to walk you through it. Like, time is the only thing you can't get back. Absolutely. That is the biggest thing that I want to stress on. And that is the biggest thing that I stress on with my prospects. It's like, it's like, yeah, you can spend all that time doing these tasks that you're so attached to doing because you're a control freak, or you can go home and spend time with your kids and let me bring on a team and build a system that takes care of it. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to not get that time back, or do you want to go spend it with your kid and be happy you spent that time?
Right. It's all about what you want to get out of it. It really is. But now, if people want to find out more about you, if they want to see your mentor programs and your strategy programs and stuff like that, where would be the best place for them to go to find it?
The best place to find anything from me is the Virtually Limitless podcast. Like, obviously, that's all free. And I bring on some freaking superheroes in their markets I mean, some of them drop freaking gold. I mean, you were there when Akbar was talking. His 4 pillars are incredible, and his 4 pillars are going to be in my book as well. So, wow, I completely lost my train of thought.
Gotta love it. It's the end of the day and we're trying to close it out.
Yeah, where was I going with that?
You're just saying about how everybody's dropping power bombs and everything on your.
Oh yeah, everybody's dropping power bombs on the podcast. Like, if you really want to know more about me, you can go to TreyCarmichael.us. If you want to get some shit that's gonna help you right now, go listen to some of the interviews.
Definitely.
And I'm sure you're gonna have some incredible folks on yours as well. Like, pretty much this is another thing that I want to give people real quick. Like, pretty much anything that you're gonna get out of a course you buy, you can find it on a podcast. You can find it in a YouTube video. You can find it by asking a question in a Facebook community for free.
That is the truth, dude. Like, something that most of you guys will probably pay attention if you watch my podcast or his podcast, you'll notice that we literally do a little bit of research or a lot of research, depending on who they are, on the person we're interviewing. Like, we are hammering down on their specialties, what they're good at, and we're trying to squeeze as much information out of them as we can. And most of the time, they're willing to share that. So, like, literally the knowledge that you're paying for, you could probably get for free just YouTubing it and watching the right podcast. But where exactly is your podcast like hosted at right now? Is it like on Spotify,
Everywhere.
iTunes?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere? Hell yeah.
Everywhere. If you Google Trey Carmichael, or if you Google Virtually Limitless, scroll a little bit, you'll find my podcast. It's not quite at the top, but you'll find it very, very quickly.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate having you on here, bro. And I will personally be in contact. Obviously, we talk a ton, but I appreciate you having on here, dropping some bombs. And if you guys want to find out anything more about him, go check him out, and for sure check out his podcast because it is crazy. And I appreciate it. And you have a wonderful day, bro.
Awesome, man.